What's up, folks? You believe that? Hold on. Do you believe that?
Oh my God, how did we win that game? How the hell did we win that game? What a game. We dropped a Hail Mary and we caught a Hail Mary. Do you believe? What a game, an instant classic. Welcome to the Big 12. We're amazing. We're elite tonight, guys. That's right. Who was elite? Travis Hunter, Shedeur Sanders, everybody was elite. We were amazing today besides special teams. But anyways, welcoming a new guest to the show. His first time here. Y'all smash that like. Welcoming Carter Dillon of Let's Talk Buffs. Carter, what is going on, my man? How's it going?
Amazing, man. What a W. Escaped overtime. It was a thriller, man. 38-31 W. Let's go.
Incredible. Gonna get to some of these comments as we get into our reaction, guys. But before we fully get into it, of course, let us know your thoughts in the comments. Go subscribe to Let's Talk Buffs in the description of the video. But man, just an incredible win, an instant classic. I mean, I gotta ask you, Carter, when Will Shepherd dropped that, what were you thinking? I said the F word a few times.
This is what I did.
Could not believe it. And then this defensive genius, Dave Aranda, what was he doing? Was he running man coverage and blitzing on a Hail Mary, man? Why would you do that?
I don't even know. We had 2 Hail Mary touchdowns. We had 2 game-tying touchdowns. At least one of them went through. That's all that matters.
It was absolutely incredible. Guys, I'm in shock right now. We got a lot to get into, man. We just, I don't even know where to start. Should we just start with our Heisman player, Travis Hunter? Just incredible. I'll bring up the game score, Carter, but what did you think of his performance tonight?
I mean, when you needed something, where did you go? You went to Travis. I mean, the game-winning fumble, forced fumble, just another game over 100 yards, if I'm not mistaken, which has been all 4 games this year. I mean, the guy is just the best player in college football. He's the Heisman, man. He's the Heisman.
No doubt. 7 receptions. I'm pulling up the box score right now. 7 receptions. What do we get here? Add to stage. Okay. 130 yards, no touchdowns. Omari Miller, 2 for 71. I think we'll see a little bit more of him. And then, of course, Wester, 4 for 68, 17-yard average. Man, 1 touchdown. Everybody was good. Draylon had some great third down conversions. He was fantastic. And, I mean, we can touch on this here in a little bit, Carter, but the offensive line, ups and downs, we're struggling on certain drives, just getting beat. But it was so great to see us fight for those tough yards in overtime at the end of the game. They weren't the prettiest runs. Who cares? We got the ball over the goal line. Micah Welch coming in here, true freshman, 2 touchdowns. And I think, man, that Zion saying here, the O-line is cheeks. But Travis and Shedeur are the best in college football. Wonderfully said. But yeah, man, what'd you think about those performances from running backs, offensive line, just the offense in general, man?
Look, it started out kind of a down game from the offense. You kept thinking, okay, the defense is in another spot where they just have to make a stop, and you don't want to see that from the offense. The offensive line was pretty messy. I mean, you got to keep shuffling guys around in there. I thought the running game looked what I would expect from our running game. I'd love the overtime. Just keep pounding the rock. You saw Shedeur get out and run the ball a little more than Shedeur normally does, and that was good to see. But just the offense, they did enough tonight. I mean, 38 points. It was a W.
It was, yeah, it was great. And shout out. I mean, I know he was getting torched. I know he was getting torched on some of those drives at the end, but it's never easy when you've been playing guard the last couple months and then to just switch over to tackle mid game. You know, Khalil Benson, he did help out in the run game. It's great to see Justin Mayers back in there. We'll see what the offensive line looks like moving forward, but I'm hoping we can find some consistency. I want to read this chat right here from Fravel Edits. He is a Notre Dame fan, but a friend of the show. Great win, my man. Baylor had every chance to win that game and didn't take it. Y'all took advantage and deserved the win. Although I don't agree or get y'all storming the field for a win over. But no, here's the thing, man. If Carter, don't we storm the field for pretty much every win? Aren't our fans like the drunkest in college football at the end of all these close games? I feel like we're always storming the field early, man. What you think about that?
When I'm like, okay, he caught it, like, or okay, it was a fumble, right? It was a fumble, right? And then I look up at the screen and all the fans are just on the field. I'm like, what is going on, man? Get off the field. But yeah, it's we storm the field all the time, man. But we got some hype fans that they deserve it.
Yeah, just like RK from DNVR will bring this up. I'm very pro storming the field. You can't do it in the NFL. I think it's a lot of fun. Yeah, who cares about that now? We are always just storming the field early. That's just how it goes out in Boulder. And man, I'm still in such disbelief. I like want to rag on special teams, man, Carter, because I was so close to driving down to the gas station, going and getting my Newports, keeping me sane for the end of the game, but didn't do that. We saw when the moment mattered the most. Let's just get to that. Our best players stepped up. Travis Hunter, incredible. Shedeur Sanders, now it might drive you crazy, holding on to the ball, looking for that big play downfield, but he's tough as nails, man. What did you think of Shedeur at the end of the game, man?
Yeah, man. Shedeur just, you talk about that it factor with quarterbacks sometimes. Do they have that? Can they just go win a game? And Shedeur has that, and he did exactly that. He went and win a game. He hung in there. He took a bunch of hits tonight, and just hits where he was holding on to it till he had to, and just got plastered and made the play. Shedeur was Shedeur tonight. I mean, that's the best. That's the best quarterback in college football, and it wasn't even his best game.
No, I mean, didn't most of the game he have? I'll bring up the stats. He was kind of teetering around 50% completion percentage. But guys, like, I don't know, even though there were some drives in which it stalled out, like I never lost belief in this offense. Now I did when, man, Carter, I never come on here and blame the refs, but I got to get to this. At the end of that game, at the end of regulation, when LeJontay Wester caught that first down, and you got a horrible spot, probably 2-3 yards behind where he caught that ball, and we lose 30 seconds off the clock, and I'm not feeling good. But this kind of reminds me of like Jalen Milroe, last year. He had that big throw for Alabama. I think that was in the Iron Bowl against Auburn, but just incredible stuff. I mean, there's little things that we can nitpick about Shedeur, all that, but he showed up when the moment mattered the most in this game. And I'm at a loss for words, Carter. Take it away.
Yeah, man. I do. Look, I thought the clock management wasn't as good as it needed to be. The refs screwed us on that 30 seconds, but the clock management was so questionable by Prime and the staff there towards the end of the game. But hey, a W is a W. That's a win. But I want to say this. Shout out Mata, man. That guy came in when he needed to. Shout out Alejandro Mata.
That, you know what? The fact that you're bringing up Mata, because he did hit a field goal for us, right? Did he hit a field goal for us?
He had to, because we had 38, right?
He hit a 43-yarder, okay? And I was off the Mata train last week, man. Even though he lifted that kick, he missed it. And I'm just like, man, I'm done with Mata. But Mata was Mata in this game. You're absolutely right. 5 for 5 on extra points. That was huge. And then the 43-yarder, he made that. Yeah, he was great. Jace Feely, on the other hand, I wish him well recovery. But Carr, man, this is driving me crazy. Everybody who comes in here to Boulder, they're kicking it through the end zone every time. How come we can't get a guy in here that can kick it through the end zone every time? Because we saw that, man, our special teams coverage, man, it left a lot to be desired today. But it's great when special teams put us in about a 10-point disadvantage, I feel, during this game. And this is just it's a team win. Perseverance, never giving up. We never quit when things started looking ugly, even though they did at certain points. Like, shout out to the defense on getting that stop at the end of regulation, because I just had this feeling like if they miss it, like we can win this game. I really did feel that. And man, you want to talk about the defense, Carter? You want to talk about the defense? Shall we start off with my guy here, right here, BJ Never Loafing Green. That's what I call him. BJ Never Loafing Green. He was fantastic. 2 tackles for loss. Did he have no sacks? But who do you want to give props to, man, on the defensive side of the ball?
Definitely BJ Green, man. I did a podcast with Joey. Shout out Joey, and we talked about our players to watch, and mine was BJ Green, and that guy came through today, man. He came through. I also want to touch on 2 more players on the defense real quick, and then we'll get to yours. Cam Silman Craig, right spot every single time, coming up with huge tackles, one-on-one tackles in third downs when they needed to. And Nikai Hill-Green continuing another great game. He is stacking great games, hitting people hard, filling those holes. Great games from the defense as a whole, but those 3 guys really stood out.
Yes, it was. Oh my gosh, it was incredible. Let's talk about the linebackers again. Another week of me apologizing to Coach Hart. These linebackers played great. Levante Bentley was right in there in the run game. And, with that big touchdown run from the quarterback, we had that one gaffe. And I feel like we normally have like one a game, but we held Baylor to their average with that included. 165 yards. I think they're averaging 163 coming into this game per game. And my magic number sorry, I'm kind of jumping all over the place, was for the Buffs rushing the ball was I think I said 80 or 85 yards. So we got a little bit over that. We ran the ball 42 times for 2.2 yards an average or yards a carry. I know my friend Rawhide will be happy about that, because he always says it's not about the yards per rush. It's about the rushing attempts. But this offense, they did good enough. The defense, man, I am just so thrilled. I feel like we have like a real defense, and we relied on them in parts of these games, in definitely parts of these games to where it could have gotten out of hand. They really stepped up. And I also want to give credit to, again, Travis Hunter, man, just insane. I think, we didn't, the quarterback Robertson, man, he was throwing some darts. He was only 11 of 21, but my goodness, Carter, like Ty Robinson was throwing some darts there on some good coverage. And the thoughts on him? Yeah,
he was throwing dot. He started picking on DJ McKinney a little bit there. Yeah. He was hitting them back shoulder balls, just at that one touchdown where it was just a one-handed catch by the receiver. You could not have put that ball in a better spot. I was pretty impressed with Sawyer Robertson. He played a great game, but this defense, man, I did not think there's not going to be many games this year where we have to worry about the offense scoring. And if this defense can keep this up and keep stacking games like this, we're going to be in for a fun year.
Yes. And Ben don't break defense, whatever. Like it was just a break defense last year. Like we make some plays. We can have great stretches defending the run, and again, held them to 7 points in the second half, including overtime. Like credit to Robert Livingston on that. I think that, again, this defense was working with short fields a lot of the time too. Like, I would credit 10 points to our special teams, maybe even 13 with some of those returns, even, them starting at midfield or inside midfield. This defense was given unfair hands, bad hands so many times, and they stood up to the challenge enough to really keep this thing close. So at the end, we could get this victory. But I'm just so impressed with Robert Livingston, how this defense is really coming together. I don't think we had any serious injuries as well. So that's another wonderful thing to take out of this game, is that our defensive guys are staying healthy. Let me go over this super chat here really quick before I get distracted again. Kyle Bigelow, thank you so much for the $20 super chat. Thank you so much. That's like 5 cups of coffee for me. Very kind of you. Says that felt like a turning point. Unreal. This was primetime magic. Man, again, it's just the resilience of this team not to give up when they're losing hope. After Will Shepherd drops that touchdown, which, man, Will Shepherd, you got to have your moment here at some time, man. To see him and the team just get collected back together, and seeing LeJontay Wester take advantage of just one-on-one coverage. I don't know why the hell Dave Aranda was blitzing like that. I don't get it. It reminds me of, man, do you remember when the Raiders beat the Jets a couple years ago because they were running cover 0 there at the end of the game? Like, I know they had a couple guys super deep. I'm without words, man.
Yeah. It also, they had great pressure just rushing forward the whole game. I mean, they were constantly pressuring Shedeur. I don't know why he felt the need to do that. Just a base pressure, and you're probably a 40 to 50% chance you sack Shedeur before the receivers even get to the end zone. It didn't make much sense to me.
No. And we made, coming into this game, I had LeJontay Wester as my player of the game. I mean, of course, I'm still giving it to Travis Hunter and Shedeur. I mean, they were the best players. But outside of that, I mean, you got to give that to him with that for being somebody who was dropping some of those more clutch catches at the beginning of the season. To see him make a play like that, it was exhilarating, and I'm so happy for him. I'm so happy for the fans that made it out. It seemed like a great atmosphere, man. And did you see that Baylor had those billboards put up in Colorado to welcome us to the Big 12? What a waste of money, man. But I appreciate it. I'm going to get to a couple comments here. Shay Duncan saying, "Sco Buffs, I got home from work just in time to see the game tied and everything after. Thank you, Lord. Instant classic. Instant classic. I need to see the entire game again," says S. McDade. I think I'm going to be watching it again tonight. Maybe we don't go to sleep. But again, Travis Hunter, man. I need to set up like a Travis shrine, maybe, instead of this. But can you believe he forced that game-winning fumble? I mean, dude, this guy is the elite of the elite. I was saying in Guru's Discord chat, this is the most elite human since Jesus Christ. That's how I feel about him, man. I can't think of any other human that's better than him.
I mean, the guy, to call him the player of the game, you could have just said that forced fumble strictly. That would have been enough to call him the player of the game. You won the game with a forced fumble. And then you go and you add on another 100-yard game, 130 to be exact, with 7 receptions with a long of 46. You add that onto the forced fumble. If this guy doesn't win the Heisman, it's just unbelievable.
Dude, yes. And nobody should wear the number 12 ever again. Let's just get this out of there. That needs to happen, man. He's going to win the Heisman. We're going to retire number 12. That's just how it's going to be. But, man, I love to see everybody in the chat giving credit to Cameron Silman Craig. Yes, put some respect on his name. I was offended, Carter, that I didn't see him listed as they must have listed 12 buffs or something like that. The Reese's Bowl did, the Senior Bowl for prospects from the buffs for the NFL. And Cameron Silman Craig wasn't on that list. And I thought he was one of our best defensive players last year. He sure is playing like it this year, no doubt about it. And it was great to just see him have the success that he did. Again, 13 total tackles, making some plays, like some open field tackles, Shout out to Trevor Woods, by the way. I really love this role that they have him in for, just kind of that spell passing down type of role. With that stop on 3rd and short, that was just so beautiful. And then we got the turnover on downs with BJ Green. Man, I cannot believe it. I cannot believe it. What a way to welcome ourselves into the Big 12, man. What were your thoughts? Let's break this down too a little bit more. What were your thoughts on Baylor coming into this game? And did they, play the way that you expected? Did they play above where you expected? Thoughts on their performance as well?
Yeah, I was expecting CU to get the W, honestly. You have their question at quarterback, and I wasn't expecting as good of a quarterback performance as we saw from Sawyer Robertson. I thought he really impressed me. I thought they were going to lean on their running game, and they kind of did, but CU what did they average per carry total? You have that.
So the running backs, they were keeping them all under 3.3, but Robertson, was the real key. He extended drives.
Those QB draws, just we got to find a way to stop the QB draws.
Especially next week when we're going to Orlando, man. No doubt about it.
But CU really had success stopping the run, and it kind of forced them to throw the ball at times. And Sawyer Robertson did good. They got that Hal Presley guy back from injury, and he had some good moments. That one-handed touchdown. So they impressed me. I think they're very well coached, defensively, especially. Their defensive backs are pretty solid. They were frustrating Travis. You see another episode of Travis screaming on the sideline. So I was impressed with them, and it's like the North Dakota State game. You just find a way to escape this game with a win, and that's really all that matters.
No doubt. No doubt. And I want to point this out too. The biggest or the leading receiver for Baylor coming into this game was tight end Michael Trigg with 10 receptions. He didn't get one catch in this game. Fantastic job. Defending the tight end has been something that we have struggled with. And we took away their top receiver in terms of receptions this year. Michael Trigg, Robert Livingston, the safeties, the linebackers deserve a lot of credit for that. And Viral Authority coming in here saying we're 3 wins away from bowl eligibility. Incredible. I always say, man, bowl game for Peggy or we get pegged, man. We're going to get the bowl game, man. We are. Russ is saying, take a look at 3rd downs. So I'm going to pull that up.
While you're doing that, when you're speaking of tight ends real quick, I just want to touch on this. I don't think anybody was expecting CU to have a tight end that was viable all year long. And I want to give Savell Smalls credit. He's back-to-back receptions, had one last week, had one this week, and I thought he's been amazing in the blocking game.
Yes.
So I just want to give a huge shout out to Savell Smalls because he's been kind of that blocker that they've needed, and I think that's what has helped them propel this running game to what it's become because it was nothing.
Yes. Dude, I love that you're calling that out, man, because I have also been impressed with Savell Smalls in the blocking game, and I think he's coming along a little bit. And this offense, I think, is starting to find an identity. It wasn't always the most efficient thing, But I really did love the fact that we came out running the ball early and heavy on those first few drives to try and set a tone, to try and set an identity. And I think throughout this game, Carter, we were the more physical team. Like, I really did feel that way. We just had some insane errors on a couple defensive plays, and then special teams fire whoever is coaching that unit into the freaking sun. I'm pretty sure. I mean, I don't know, man. We had some bad special teams performances last year. Seeing what we saw today, it might take the cake. But anyways, let me get back to the offense. 8 of 18 on third down. So just a smidge under 50%. You'll take that. And we held Baylor to 7 of 17. You'll definitely take that on third down. And when we got them in third and long situations outside of a couple scrambles, I thought we did. And there was like a play earlier on, I don't know if you remember it, where they motioned the wide receiver out at the snap and the linebacker, whoever it was, just didn't run with him and it gave him an open.
Yeah, Bentley tried to like pass him off to the DB, and then Bentley blitzed. Is that the player you're talking about?
Yes. Yeah. That
was
was
a little miscommunication.
Yeah, but this defense is coming together. I love to see the dedication to the run, and Michael Welsh got off to like a really nice start. He had there with a 12-yard gain at the beginning, and we couldn't really run it as effective, but I felt like we did have some nice runs out of shotgun. We did have some runs. Did we take some snaps under center? Did Shedeur take some snaps under center?
He might have. I don't remember any if he did. It wasn't very many. No. I know that.
It's nice to see us mix it up a little bit. And again, like this offensive line, yeah, they should be reamed for the pass protection in this game. But again, like comparing this team to last year, this offensive line, at the end of the game, I don't think you're getting those really dirty short yards at the end, whether it's a Shedeur tush push or Shedeur also helping out Welsh get in the end zone. We had some other third down conversions in which they were just scrappy runs where this team showed grit. I know Tyler Brown was struggling early in the run game, but again, I don't know, man. It just feels like we are developing a little bit more of an identity on offense, a little bit more toughness. And that's like one of my biggest takeaways. It wasn't the prettiest thing, like every single drive, but I honestly do really like overall, I really liked how the game was called. What did you think about the play calling, game plan, all that?
I thought there were some moments where it just and I'll have to go back in the film because I think this might have been the longest we've seen Shedeur hold on to the ball. I mean, there were some plays where this guy just held the ball for and it's hard to imagine our wide receivers aren't finding separation downfield. Yes. So it'll really be something to answer going back and watching the film and seeing what the play is really designed for. But there were some plays where I was like, what are we doing? I think there was a 3rd and 5 where we called a run play out of gun, and it's just some plays questionable, but then some plays great. They needed to get the ball to Travis, and they started to do that, and they found success towards the end of the game, and that's what won them the game.
Yes, man, just an incredible win. Guys, I might turn on the press conference here in a little bit. Carter, I don't know if you'd be cool with that.
Yeah, go for it.
And this is our first time doing a show together, me and Carter, and we had no meeting beforehand. So let me see if we can get the press conference on here. And I do know people like that last time. So
yeah, we're all CU fans. We're all happy we got a dub. We're 3-1. Like it's a good time. It's a good time to be alive and be a CU fan right now. You got the best player in the country.
I'm not seeing it yet. It
says it started 7 minutes ago, but I'm watching an ad right now.
Oh, okay. I did Coach Prime press conference.
Let me see. I can tell you if got anybody up right now.
Yeah, I don't see anything up on YouTube yet.
They got Shedeur on the podium right now on Buffs TV.
Maybe I might have to pull that up here in a bit, but yeah, let's get to a few more comments here. Terrell saying down number 1, Augustive. I thought he ran really hard today. And Michael Welsh. Yeah, it's nice to feel like we got some running backs with some real juice. And again, you didn't really see, I don't really feel like the weather was a factor, but in the one play where it was a factor, Carter, was maybe it was that second to last drive we had, or the third to last drive, where it was the one where we didn't kick the 52-yard field goal. Let's talk about this one. Because it's 3rd and 5. Shedeur hits the running back in the flat coming out there. That's Augustive. And he slips. The pass is thrown a little bit behind him, but he slips. He catches the ball. We lose 3. And what was going to be a 49-yarder turns into a 52-yarder. How did you feel about Coach Prime's decision to go for it instead of kicking? I'll let you know my thoughts after.
I think I'm glad. I mean, I don't have much confidence in Mata from that range. I have confidence in Mata kicking extra points. And do you really want to trot that guy out there when you're in this close of a game? Because you needed him to be clutch. And if missing that field goal messes with his confidence a little bit, does he make those crucial extra points? I mean, it's hard to say, obviously. But I like the decision. I think you got a better chance to get it than Mata to make it at that point.
Yeah. I didn't have an issue with going for it. The one thing, and it's going to be interesting to take a look at the offensive film. Guys, if you're not subscribed to Let's Talk Buffs, in the description of my video, please go and do it. Carter does a ton of film stuff, whether it's on YouTube or on Twitter. Really smart dude. So please go follow him. He's going to be cutting this whole thing up later this week. But yeah, like Shedeur, especially in the fourth quarter, man, it just really seemed like he was holding on to the ball so much. You've alluded to that. We got to see why that is. But on that 4th down play, regardless of what's happening, man, since it is 4th down, you got to throw that thing up and just at least at the very least hope for a flag or something, that can bounce your way. If it's picked off, it's like a punt, a nice little punt. But that was really difficult. It went on to Baylor, I believe, scoring off of that play. But again, you're kind of in no man's land right now with the guys that we got on special teams with the 52-yard kick. While things are a little wet, I guess we should get to the big elephant in the room. Special teams. I don't know what was worse today, the punt coverage or the kickoff coverage. They were both terrible. I think that special teams, the coverage, the first few games that we've had has actually been good. But today, man, I got to be honest, I felt like Trevor Riley was coaching that group again. I didn't like it, man. What your thoughts on special teams, on what we're doing on kickoffs, where we go from here with that unit?
Yeah, it was ugly. I mean, you're talking about probably half of the drives they're starting in our territory because of the special teams. I'm pretty sure it's got to be at least close to 50%, if not more. And then the 100-yard kick return, or was it 100 yards? I'm not sure.
Yeah. I think they fielded it right at the goal line because it didn't make it into the end zone. Yeah.
It just can't happen. You gotta, and Jace was kicking it to the back of the end zone. I think the first couple kickoffs, and then that one obviously didn't make it. And then Jace gets hurt, and I don't know what they were trying to do when they brought that backup kickoff specialist in, like a 40-yard chip almost. It was just ugly all around. It was ugly all around. At least Mata made the extra points, but I mean, they get an F easily.
Yes, no doubt about it. They got to fix it. I do have the Shedeur press conference up here, so I'm going to pull this up if that's okay, Carter. Let's see here. I might need to reshare it so we got volume. All right. Let's see.
Well, the gang's all here. Let's
all right, guys. I mean, I know that. Here, see you post game. Go with this one. Everybody was making fun of me last week, Carl. They're saying I need to get the YouTube Premium, so I have no ads. But this is live.
The Hail Mary play, and just Shedeur was saying that he expected them to kind of go after you and
Let me know if volume's good, guys, in the chat.
Kind of what was your reaction when LaJohntay does come down with the ball?
I told Coach let me go to the side by myself because I know they'll have more people over there on me, and they give our guys backside a one-on-one opportunity, which they did. They did exactly what we thought. They had 3 people on me, and everybody else backside had a one-on-one chance. So I just know sometimes you got to step back and let the team go ahead and play their role and let them come down with a good play. So I trusted the process. So at the end of the game, you can see, at the end of the play, you can see me already halfway over there because I'm expecting the ball to go over there already.
Travis, Adam, Mr. Tiger, 24/7 Sports. Given the dramatic nature of this victory, is this the type of win that can kind of catapult you guys and have greater success down the road as a result?
Yeah, it helps us with greater success. We know when it's crunch time, we know what we got, what we're going to do. We're going to come out and play, make a play. And like Coach said, it helps us a lot. But at the end of the day, we still didn't want to win a game like that. We want to go out with a bang. And that's not the way we want to win. We want to go out and play how we should play.
Travis, does it help you playing both sides of the ball? I notice your technique is terrific on offense. Having that advantage of seeing both sides of the ball the way you do is phenomenal, the way you play the game. Does it help playing both sides with technique on both sides? Because I think it does, especially on the defensive side. I see you read receivers because you are a receiver. Does that kind of put things – am I stretching it too much? But I think that you have an advantage. You're an amazing player.
Yeah, I definitely have an advantage from going both sides of the ball. I can know what type of routes they're getting from each split because I know what type of route I would run from each split. So I just know how to shut down the receiver, and I just go out there and play.
Travis, after the game was over, we saw you did the celebration from Kai. Can you just talk us through that moment?
You did that crazy.
Yeah,
you did, dog.
Yeah, I did it.
That was a good dog.
No, I had to do it. I gave him a promise. I said if I make a big play, I was going to do a celebration.
Wow.
So I did it for him. Shout out to Kai, too.
Coach Travis, I'm Baylor Weiss with Wisconsin Sports. Coach, at the end of your Coach Prime docuseries last year, you said that last season was a year of hope, but this year was a year of expectation. Like touching on both you guys, how do you guys think you guys have played up to those expectations in this 3-1 start?
You got it, though.
We still have more to go. We still have more to do. We still got to improve. Like we said, we don't like the outcome of the game, but we love the outcome of the game because it showed that we have the effort. We're going to fight to the end to the clock say 0-0. So, we still got expectations for our team, and we don't want no games to be close, but we still came out with the dub, so we're happy with the dub.
Alex Ramirez, My Life Sports Radio. Final word. Guys, the 12th man tonight, they didn't leave.
Mm-hmm.
They were there the entire game, guys. And that was amazing. It was raining. Coach, it was raining a little bit.
Thank you for that shot.
Yeah. No, well, that's over here.
Yeah.
But hey,
You
listen,
still
guys,
upset.
that was amazing. I was sitting back with Mr. Snyder over here, and we were watching it, and it was amazing. Just congratulations on a tremendous victory, starting the Big 12 the way you guys started tonight.
Yes.
That's what's up.
Yes, sir.
Very excited for you guys. Proud
Thank
of
you.
guys.
Thank you.
Scott, go ahead.
Travis, Scott Proctor at the Colorado. And just defensively, you guys have been locking down defensively in the second half of pretty much every game so far here this year. What do you think's kind of been the difference and what's kind of led to this second half, kind of dominance from you guys defensively?
It's kind of our coach. Coach Mathis, he don't play. We going to halftime, he on us. We know we got to go out there and play. He was a dog when he used to play. So we take that energy from him. He give us that energy, and we go out there and play how we're supposed to play. But we got to put together 2 halves. We can't let no deep balls come.
Your shoulder, man. It's a fly on your shoulder. It's a fly on.
It's still there.
Lord. Yeah, you sit up there like this. Jesus.
Well, yeah, like I was saying, my coach Mathis, he give us the energy. He give us the energy. We know we got to go out there and dominate, but we got to put together 2 halves. We don't like the go balls. I'm surprised Coach Prime make them crawl from the go from where they
During the game.
go ball. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
One more for Travis. Go ahead.
Yeah, Travis, I asked this question of Shedeur, but I wanted to ask, was was it a bit of deja vu, if you will, because we saw this in the Celebration Bowl last Hail Mary type play where you made the catch and sent it into overtime. But just what was going through your mind as you saw this happen again?
What was going through my mind is we got to win. That's pretty much everything. I put myself on the opposite side to help the guys get a chance. I just wanted us to have a chance. I knew if we had a chance or a shot, it's 50-50. But with our receiver core, it's like 80-20. I mean, you can't get any better than our receiver core.
All right, thanks, Travis. Appreciate you.
Let me take some notes for a little bit.
All right.
See how he answers
He's
questions.
off duty. Let's go.
Coach, last week you credited the team's ability to stop the run as a factor needed for the victory in the game. How much credit do you give the defensive line for this big win?
We didn't play up to our capabilities or our ability whatsoever. We blew some things. They went empty, did quarterback draws. I think we saw that in practice a couple times this week, and we knew that was coming, and we thought we were prepared for that. They ran that play several times as well as in overtime. So we got to do a better job of that. But overall, they were resilient.
Brian, go ahead. Hey, Coach Brian, how
you doing, sir?
Good. How are you?
Good.
Your overall emotions. I know that you've seen all these guys play. But
Yeah.
when you see your guys, Shedeur, Travis, they're making the big plays. The Jonte down there.
Mm-hmm.
How much satisfaction is there for you
Well,
seeing a game end like this with those guys?
It's not just those guys. I mean, it's some of the smaller things you don't see. I mean, the line always gets ridiculed, but we scored on a run. We scored on a darn run. I think it was 2 back-to-back runs that we did it. And you got your quarterback pushing the guy in from to get in the end zone, and he pops through there, and it's a touchdown. So no matter what transpires, I just love that these guys could just flush it and move on to the next play. And that's something we're trying to teach. It's something we're educating them on, and it's something I'm proud of.
Hey, Coach Tyler King with the
How you
Denver
doing,
Gazette.
my man?
I'm doing well, thank you. You mentioned some of the things you didn't like during the game. I'm sure special teams was probably.
Special team was horrible.
What about that unit needs to get fixed, and how can you guys go about fixing that going forward?
Well, number one, we got to do a better job of covering. I think both of our guys was running the twist there, and I think both of our guys, man, got knocked off. That's what I heard on the headsets, but we got to do a better job. And we have so much personnel that's able and capable of doing that. Sometimes guys don't take special teams serious. And at the halftime, I told them, why do you think they call it special teams? You're supposed to be special when you run down there and do it. And we got to get the ball in the end zone, kick it off. I mean, we got to do that. We can't even give them an opportunity to return it. You rarely see Jimmy Holmes return the kickoffs, right? Because they're kicking the ball out of the darn stadium. So we got to find a way to do the same.
Thank you.
Hi, Coach Adam Munster.
How you doing, Adam?
Sports. I'm curious, what was running through your head with Shedeur's pass there at the end of regulation?
First of all, I seen them load us up to our right side. I'm like, okay, that was really smart because now he's going to have to boot to his off throwing hand. You don't want a right-hand quarterback rolling to his left. So that was very smart on their behalf. But as I looked at, the whole team was over there on Travis. And you got LeJonte. How is there a one-on-one in that situation? First of all, let's just dial it back to a couple plays. We should have had that one. You guys know what I'm saying, right? We should have had that one. I mean, it was a 50-50 ball. We should have had that one. But we caught the one that we needed to catch. LeJonte needed it as well. It was a great confidence booster for him, but it was tremendous. I mean, it kind of threw us back to last year a little bit, didn't it? Like that nostalgia, like that's the way stuff was starting out last year. And I'm like, man, I'm already great. You guys, what you trying to do to me, fellas? And it was a tough one. I'm excited that we got, because this press conference could be totally different right now, but I'm excited that we won.
Yeah.
Just on that play at the end of regulation,
Mhm.
John catches the ball. When you see Shedeur and Pat Sherman talking to each other in really high intensity situations,
Yeah.
how do you feel like they collaborate and go onto the field to have an outcome? like that?
Tremendously. The main thing, coach listens. Shedeur is out there. So when we're saying get rid of the ball, we don't know if somebody ran the wrong route. We do. You guys don't. We don't know if he was expecting something else, and it was supposed to be a chip on that end. You guys don't know that. We know that. So they're trying to fix it on the fly. and do some things. And we're listening to the receivers. We're listening to the guy Brett upstairs telling us what they're doing, so we could be more than able. Then we start going back. I said, Coach, you remember that digging up that we ran against Washington State?
That's what I kept telling him.
Yeah, I said, you remember that, Coach? He said, yeah. I said, it's been about that time to dust that thing off. I said, sometimes we got to join it in the dirt. But he already had it in anyway. So that's what you saw. And Travis, I think he was 10 yards behind the gentleman, but Shedeur got hit in the chest when he was releasing the ball. But he still made the play, and we got a PI on it as well.
Couple more, Jack. Go ahead.
Hey, Coach. Jack Carlo with Buffalo.
Jack Carlo, I love your name, man.
Thanks, Coach. Kind of a cliche question, but where does this game kind of rank or compare just in terms of chaotic?
I don't rank games. I don't. I just love the W's, man. I love the W's. I really do. Any means necessary. I love them.
Hey, Coach. Just that play from Omarion Miller at the end of the first half, it felt like a game-changing play. Just
phenomenal.
What about Omarion? Is it to have those tendencies, just make plays just like last year?
Well, he's hungry. He wants it. I mean, he's sitting over there on the sideline. He don't want to be over there. When he gets in, he's ready. He's ready to go. And Shedeur has a tremendous expectation of him. Sometimes he would say who he wants on certain plays and certain routes. And Marion just came in there and did his thing, man. I'm proud of him that he wasn't over there asleep. So when his number was called, he was ready to respond. I'm very proud of that young man.
Two more, go ahead.
Coach Troy Finnegan, CU Sports Report. There was a lot of little moments in this game.
Yes, it was.
And one of those was Cam making the tackle on the play before the fumble, open field tackle.
Yeah.
And he made a lot of those in this game in the open field.
Yeah.
Can you just speak to what you've seen from him
Cam,
tonight?
I've been seeing this consistently since he was a junior in high school. Cam has played for us for a long time. So I've seen his progress. I've seen who he is. I just told a scout, he's asking me about unsung heroes. I say, Cam's the kind of kid, if you draft him, he's not going to get cut. He's not going to allow you to cut him. He's going to play special teams. He's going to do this. He's going to do that. And he's going to consistently show up on film. 13 darn tackles, from the safety position. He has a nose for the ball, and he practices like he plays. And I'm proud of him tremendously.
Last one, go ahead.
Coach Charles Bishop, the pregame show.
Okay.
I wanted to ask this question. I believe early in the game, Shedeur completed his 1,000th.
I just had a throwback. When Richard Pryor was up there. You remember that? Corey, y'all remember that? Richard Pryor? I'm serious. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Shedeur completed his 1,000th completion during his collegiate career. And I wanted to ask, just you watching his growth from freshman year to now, how much has he matured into the position?
Tremendously. Not freshman, I mean from a baby to where he is now. But at this level, I expect it. I expect, when these two guys are on the field together, along with the rest of the guys, I expect them to do something spectacular because they do it in practice. They practice with purpose. I mean, so when they play and they prepare with purpose. So I have a tremendous expectation from him. I'm more tough on these guys than I am on anybody because I expect great things from them. Taylor, you got anything? You good? Yes.
Tedeschi Sports Illustrated. I guess just like seeing all your coaches just treat their players like just their son is like, I think it's just so beautiful. I saw a moment with your coaches doing that. How does that just inspire you to do as well?
We don't only want to coach them, we want to grow them and to mature them and love them and chastise them at the same time. We don't just want to pick them up and push them in the swing set. We want to make sure we sit down and tell them what they need to know at that persistent time. We love these young men in a multitude of ways. And some of these young men have never heard those words from a man. So it's vital that they not only hear it, but we show it. And, he knows the way I feel about him and the rest of these young men on the team. And we're developing a tremendous relationship that goes much farther than just football. Who's here from Jackson?
All the players?
No. We got a couple players here. But Isaiah, thank you so much. Isaiah Bolden is here, who played for us in with the Patriots now. But just seeing his joy when we first saw one another, and I said, boy, if you'd have been here, you probably would have been a second rounder, a third rounder. I mean, it's just for his location. But he got drafted, I think, 7th rounder. But the kid is 200 pounds and runs a 4.340. Come on, man. So phenomenal, just seeing them and embracing them and them coming up to support us and watching our guys that they played together with. It was phenomenal. So we love them, not just through them playing for us, but forever and always. I appreciate you all. Thank you very much. This has been wonderful. We're sorry to keep you up so late and keep you on the edge of your seats, but God be the glory. We got the victory. We got the victory. We got the victory, and thank God we got the victory. God bless you all.
We got 2 more players coming, guys.
Who's coming next?
Micah.
All right.
Oh, Micah. I want to stand here, Micah.
W.
Dude, wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Again, guys, if you're just joining the stream, I'm joined by my friend Carter Dillon of Let's Talk Buffs. Please go subscribe to their channel. They're getting it going. And follow him for film breakdown of this game later this week. And also, our good friend also wanted to join the show after such an iconic victory. We got Russ from Buffs News Weekly. Before we get to kind of our dog of the game, we'll talk DAWG, not like dog, like bad. Russ, would love to just get your takeaways on this game, man.
That was an absolute roller coaster. I swear, going from swearing at the TV to cheering, it was absolutely insane. What I'm just happy about is, one, the defense continues consistent play. They're doing exactly what they need to do each and every game. They're giving us a chance to win, unlike last year, where there were some, games where we had no chance because the other teams could just do whatever they wanted and we never got on the field sometimes. You think of the Utah game last year where literally they just ran the ball down our throat the whole game and we never saw the ball. I'm happy to see them getting off the field. There's definitely some stuff we need to fix on offense going forward. I will obviously, be happy that we ended up with the victory, but there's just some things that I'm kind of banging my head against the ground there. When the line's struggling a little bit, when Shedeur's holding the ball a little bit too long, until we watched maybe the all 22, it just seemed like there was no short routes, intermediate routes, nothing over the middle, none of those easy plays to help Shedeur when he's getting so much pressure and the line's under so much pressure. So I really, really hope that we see that, because that's been a problem every week so far this season. And it needs to get fixed if we want to continue. The good news is we've done a lot of adjustments, starting to run the ball more, even when it's not effective. 3 rushing touchdowns today, because Shedeur got 1 and Micah got 2.
I wonder what the betting odds were for that one.
Probably less than 1 touchdown rushing. So absolutely ecstatic, absolutely happy. Can't believe they pulled it off, and we're back, baby. And the Big 12 is wide open. I just got done watching the K-State game, and oh my gosh, are they horrible? Are they horrible? Dude. Avery Johnson is like the worst quarterback in the Big 12.
I can't believe it. Is it still 31-3? Is that the score?
He's thrown 2 interceptions. They've got no rushing yards. They had a fumble return for a touchdown, and a pick 6, another interception that led to BYU scoring immediately. They're just not effective at all. Avery Johnson can't pass the ball. So what is BYU doing? They're stacking the box, saying throw the ball, and he's throwing interceptions. So the blueprint is there to beat K-State, which we talked about in the offseason. I mean, you and I, Dave, talked about that. Like, it's going to be stop the run. Can we stop the run? And we are stopping the run. So the Big 12 is completely wide open.
It's volatile. It's volatile. Carter, I want to lead off with your answer to this question, but another friend of Buff Nation, Zach Seegers of Let's Talk Buffs, Let's Talk Broncos, coming in with this question. Did today make you more or less confident about UCF next week? Carter, we'll start with you, and then Russ will get your thoughts.
Look, you obviously have some things you need to clean up on every side of the ball. The offensive line is a mess. You got to figure that out if you want to contend for the Big 12. You can't keep rotating guys in and out. You have to figure that out before you can talk about a championship or anything close to that. And defensively, it was an overall great game. Still some things you got to clean up. We got to stop the QB draw at some point. And special teams was atrocious, but you won a game in overtime. You're 1-0 in Big 12 play.
Mhm.
You got a ton of momentum. Like, this was a huge game. You go in to Florida and you get a win, you just start, you go on a run. So I'm more confident because we won the game and we have a ton of momentum, and Travis is just cementing himself as the best player in college football that we all know he is. So there's some things we need to clean up, but let's go down to Florida and get a dub.
Russ, your thoughts?
Yeah, same. I'm really optimistic, looking at UCF and what they've done so far this year. I mean, they are similar to Kansas State, and then they are a heavy run first offense. And that's how they, make their bread and butter. If we can play like we do and stop the run, keep the run, the averages to 2 to 3 yards max, like, as long as the offense can figure some of this stuff out, which I think it is fixable. I think, like you said, Dave, if we can get some consistency on the line, I think we go with how it ended. I think you do Benson, which is funny because that is the line that we all talked about in the offseason. That was the exact lineup that everybody in Buffs Nation said, that's our lineup for this season. Why we didn't at least try it to start the season and they decided in fall camp to mix it up, I will never have any idea. But at this point, put Benson at right tackle, let him figure it out. He had some issues. Seton had probably his worst game that he's had at this season, but again, true freshman. So there's things to improve on offensively, but as long as the defense keeps doing this, we're going to be in every single game this year. And when you have 2-12 on offense, 2 only needs 2. Like, look, 2 minutes, man. We just need to talk about that. The 2-minute drill with Shedeur Sanders is absolutely money. And, we shouldn't at all be freaked out or worried if the game is close with only a couple minutes left in that game.
No. Yeah, I'm way more confident going into this UCF game than if we didn't come back and win this game, because then the narrative is special teams cost us another game again. We can't just, know our assignments on defense for every single run play. We can't stop the QB run, all this stuff. But now the narrative is this is a resilient team. This is a team that didn't give up. This was a team that still made more clutch plays than bad plays. And they're the team that got it done when the moment mattered the most. It was just great to see them overcome adversity, remain persistent, resilient. And again, like you said, 2-12, if we got them, we're going to have a chance in this game. No doubt about it. And I just tweeted this out while the press conference is going on, man. Just retire 12 as soon as possible. This is once in a lifetime type of stuff we're seeing from Travis Hunter. Insanity. And if he's on the field, we're going to have a chance. No doubt about it. And I want to throw this out there to you guys is, you take away, you just take away that one busted play of Sawyer Robertson running. We did a really good job containing their run game and the running backs. I think that would come out to like 40 rushes for 120 yards. Like, it's around 3 yards a carry, and the running backs, we did hold them to 2 yards a carry, depending on the back. So you do see some positives to take away from this, and I think some people have brought this up in the chat. Our run defense was lacking our best interior run defender. Yeah. What did you guys think? Let's talk a little bit more about the run defense. Carter, was there anybody who really stood out to you in that department on the defensive line?
Yeah, I thought the edges were a lot more involved in the run defense today. You saw BJ Green getting back there, just stuffing dudes. Deion Hayes, same way. Sam Okunlola had some tackles for loss that were huge. So I liked what I saw from the edges in that department. And Chidozie, you get Chidozie back, and it just ups how this unit plays as a whole. I mean, he just eats blocks. That's what he does. Anquin Barnes, nothing really stood out. Like, there wasn't much bad. It was all solid, and you were lacking your best player, like you mentioned.
Yeah. It was great to see Anquin Barnes out there. Man, I loved it. Any thoughts on the run defense, Russ?
Yeah, I mean, gosh, Shane Cokes did a great job in the interior. 5 tackles,
Did he
2
have a sack
solos,
too?
and he had a sack, and he had a good sack. Like, that was a great stunt that he did on the line to get to the quarterback, and then he held on, because that looked like every sack that we should have had every game so far this season, that the quarterback's broken, out, and he did a great job holding on there. So yeah, I mean, all the way across the line. I mean, you look at the stats on the defensive end, like the tackles are racking up, and the solo tackles, the tackles for losses are starting to rack up. Like, the defense is exactly what we need it to be. And like you said, I mean, the fact that we still don't have Chidoze and they held him out for another week, I love that. We got the victory without him. I hope that he's much healthier for next week. Same with Dallin Hayden. I mean, obviously we missed Hayden and Chidoze. I feel like Hayden in this, the way the line's blocking, the way they're running the ball, I think he gets a lot more yards than our backs do currently. Like Augustov and Micah have done a great job, but Hayden is that breakout and breakaway back that we could really use to break this out against UCF. So all in all, defense is going to have to win this game next week, most likely. And as long as they keep doing what they're doing, I have no doubts that it's either going to be a close game or going to be in it. But if the offense could finally find a game where they click the whole time, we could run away with a game against UCF, especially if we have to force them to pass. If we can put them into passing situations, I think our DBs are going to have a good day.
Beautiful. I want to read this right now from Elevation. I just love this sorts of stuff. Thank God for 2. He was my last leg of the night on a 6-leg parlay, and that Hail Mary was money in the bank. Congratulations. It's always nice when we're able to win money on the Buffs, and you guys are brave people betting on this team right now. Man, including myself included in that. So, yes, fantastic performance. I want to get to this because people are talking about this in the comments, guys. Carter, we'll start with you. Performance from Omari Miller. We didn't really talk about his touchdown. Thoughts on Will Shepherd and the idea, should we see a shakeup in the wide receiver room next week?
Look, you look at Will Shepherd and you see a guy with unlimited potential, go up and get it ball. That drop is never going to happen again for Will. And Dion's touched on this point, how you see it all week in practice and you're just waiting for it to click in the game. And you're seeing Shedeur and Will's connection throughout fall camp. And you're like, this guy, if he has a good season, we're talking about a first-round wide receiver. So, I mean, we texted about this, David, during the game. I think you just keep rotating the 5 in. You can't bench Will Shepherd. I don't think you can bench Will Shepherd. I think you're just waiting for him to pop. And when he pops, it's going to be another unbelievable wide receiver out there alongside Travis. I think he's your most pro potential wide receiver outside of Travis. So but Omarion's got to get more snaps. Like if that means Will's snap count goes lower, that's what it is. But you can't bench Will completely. Omarion, amazing play to not go down and score the touchdown. He's got to get on the field more.
Yeah. Thoughts, Russ?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to play a little bit devil's advocate because, Will's had a lot of opportunities this season, and he has maybe come down with 2, difficult catches. You got to remember the NDSU game when we were in the 2-minute drill. Yep. He had the easy play on the sideline that he didn't get his feet in. There's a bad play. He had a drop in, later in that game. He's had a drop in the Nebraska game. Obviously, today he had a couple of plays. I mean, he almost had, if he has that ridiculous catch that he could have got, the one-handed that they had to go to review and they didn't give it to him because it, touched the ground. I might be saying something different, but the problem is he's not making the plays that he needs to. And you just had Omarion Miller catch his first pass of the season.
Yes.
And go for 60 yards on the most ridiculous playmaker play of the season. Like, he definitely deserves more looks. And honestly, we also got to think Omarion's the future of this wide receiver core. I mean, we need to get him in the game. We need to keep him happy. We need to keep him around going into next season. And if I'm Omarion and I'm sitting on the sideline watching Will Shepherd do what he's been doing constantly, I'm probably saying in my head, this is complete trash, that I'm not the one in there making these plays. And then as soon as he does, what does he do? He comes through with it. So we're 4 games in, and it hasn't been great. And I'll be honest, we chatted with Shep in our Discord before the game, and he said, like, he's like, this is it. I'm locked in. I'm ready for a breakout game. You know, he knows that he has not played well at all this season. And so I expected a really big game out of him. And it started kind of poor and slow. And then when that play happened at the end, I mean, I'm glad that we're not talking about it in the sense that it lost us the game. But when you guys, if you go back and watch that catch, there is no reason in a million years that you should drop that. And again, luckily the most insane play happened next, but that could have been the end. Like, I don't think any CU fan would ever want to see Will Shepherd ever again had we not won that game.
No, it was like the parting of the Red Sea, and it just allowed LeJontay Wester to come open. So many things aligned, and now it can just be something that we kind of brush under the rug. But yeah, like, we're a better team when Will Shepherd is also locked in, no doubt. I would be upset if he were to be put in the doghouse or something like right now, because it's still a long season. We're going to need these guys. And you want to see, just like we've seen Shedeur continue to go at LeJontay, even though he had some killer drops in those first couple games. We saw him turn it around last week, and now we saw him make one of the plays of the game, catching the Hail Mary. I want to see Will have that moment where he turns it around. But on the other hand, and to your point, Russ, is just Omari Miller, man. This guy is not, I think somebody said in here, he's not our 5th best wide receiver, man. This guy is dynamic, and whether it's getting Travis some rest, which we saw him on the sideline, every random play or so, or LeJontay some rest. But I think we need to, like, go out of our way to manufacture some touches for him, because making that play after contact, staying up on his feet, like that is what kept us in the game. It gave us momentum going into the second half, or else we're talking about, man, we're down 2 scores. This is just looking like last year, all this stuff. Like, Omarion made that first play of the game that really made you feel like, yeah, we got this. We're coming back from this 14-point deficit. We're not going away. I want to see him get some more looks. What do you think too on, like, Draylon Miller? It was nice to see him involved a little bit. I think he had 3 catches. Do you guys want to see more of him? More in the backfield? I wouldn't mind seeing him to see kind of what his vision looks like taking a handoff either, I don't know. Thoughts on that, Carter?
I've really liked the way they've used Draylon throughout this year. They've used him all over. I think they're fitting his strengths, and they're not putting too much pressure on him as a freshman. And I think you'll see his touches go up throughout the year, but I think they're playing to his strengths right now. You saw that one juke from him today where, he made the guy just tackle air. Like, the guy closed his eyes and all of a sudden Draylon was 5 yards to the right. The guy's so talented, but I don't think they're doing a great job with him, is what I think.
Yeah, I think with Draylon, I loved using him in the backfield. I love the little out route that they did with him and Shedeur late in that game, using him out of the backfield. Because again, we were talking about, can we make this easier on Shedeur when the protection isn't great? And using, I think, Draylon as kind of maybe that in between might be a good idea in those situations. And yeah, that Baylor guy is never going to hear the end of it. He literally got his soul like taken out of his body on that. I literally have never seen that, and how he moved after that and just completely got taken out by Draylon's move. So Draylon definitely needs to see some more, I think, touches in different scenarios. But, we've got so many playmakers. That's never a problem in Coach Prime's teams, DB's offense. It's always going to be there. So it's just crazy how deep we are when it comes to that. If you want to triple team Travis, like they did at the last play of the game, go right ahead, Baylor, because their coach is going to be in a lot of hot water after that call. I still have no idea why he did that.
Inexcusable to call that defense, man. Inexcusable. Guys, I'm really interested to hear your opinion on this. You guys are killing it in the comments. Please be sure to smash the like and also go subscribe to my friends here at Let's Talk Buffs with Carter Dillon and Russ with Buffs News Weekly. Please, please, please. We got to get their channels rolling. Dante coming in here saying no pistol, David. I was saying this should be like our base formation that we play out of right now, but I think we saw some more variation. This is kind of a hot take, heart of sports. I don't know if my other counterparts on here will agree, but I am going to agree with you on this. He's saying this was the best play calling all year by far. We had play variety, motion, 11 and 12 personnel. We saw, 2 back formations. We saw variance in where Shedeur was taking the snaps, and not a perfect game. But I did feel like we kind of built on what we did, what we accomplished last week. I'll go to you, Carter. What did you think about kind of the play formations and all that?
Look, I never really try to immediately have an opinion on the play calling until I go watch it back, because you're so focused on the ball. It's hard to tell. But the motion and you could talk about the motion and the personnel. I liked the way they use. I just touched on Draylon. I like how they use Savell Smalls. Yes. They had some motion going on. It was a much more variety than we thought, and the lack of pistol. It's okay. They see we're good at pistol. We're going to be good at something else, because they're going to think we're going to come out and run pistol the whole game. So I thought it was a well schemed up game from the offensive side, but I'd like to go see, because there were moments where you're just like, okay, is Shedeur not seeing anybody, or what is going on? Because he's held the ball in his hands for 20 seconds now. Someone has to be open. So I want to go back and look at that before I really touch on the play calling as a whole, but the variety was there tonight.
Mm-hmm. The biggest one that I started screaming at my TV in a good way. We got a first down with Shedeur under center. We handed the ball off from under center and gained, I think it was like 5 or 6 yards on short yardage.
Who was it to? Who was it
first
to?
down? I think it was Augustov. Okay. I think. There was that. The fourth down plays. What did we do? The tush push. Like, that play works. Let's use it. Let's use Shedeur. Let's just go at it one-on-one and have somebody shove Shedeur for the 1 yard when we should have done that against, North Dakota State. You had that. I mean, yes, we need to see all the plays. We need to see what was happening with the receivers and what they were playing with that. But overall, it was probably the most variety we've seen. And the plays that we had added that we haven't seen in a Coach Prime offense so far in his tenure as a Buff worked. So I'm hoping that turns them into, okay, maybe we do some more under center next week. Maybe now between now and UCF, we do some under center. We look at some different plays like that. I mean, the fact that we scored 2 touchdowns in the red zone off of running tells you a lot, because that is just man on man, hat on hat, going at it in the trenches and seeing who wins. And when you have your quarterback getting behind the running back and shoving him into the end zone in overtime, like, that just shows you where Shedeur is at with this team and how bought in he is as well. But I definitely love the variety. I'll be very interested to see what else we kind of glean from that, and maybe if we left some meat on the bone, so to speak.
Yeah. No doubt about it. I'm interested too let me read this comment here from Patrick Williams. This is great. I love this type of stuff. This is the type of resilience we need that will take us to the championship. This is a team that believes now. Just an iconic win. And I think somebody mentioned earlier that they were talking about, the play 30 years ago against Michigan right before all this stuff. Just iconic. You absolutely love to see it. But dang, I totally just lost my train of thought, guys. I was gonna comment on the offense. What are you saying, Russ? I apologize. guys.
The under center and how we were able to run the ball.
I remember
on
what
those
I was
couple-
gonna say now. Thank you.
Yep.
What I like, I think we saw maybe a couple of plays like this in the first half, and maybe this is something that we can build on more because we saw how if you're just having, your offensive lineman protect and then maybe a running back, we saw how like that was kind of some Benson moments that I'm expecting, like seeing him at right tackle. Like he just doesn't have the lateral speed for some of those guys coming off the edge. So I always thought since he transferred here, he'd be a better guard. Not fair. Like I'm not going to say his performance was trash whenever you're practicing guard for the last 2 months and you're thrown in there mid game. It is what it is. But I did like how Pat Shurmur had some plays drawn up that he called where they moved the pocket a little bit. They got Shedeur moving on some like triple option RPO type things. I really like that. Moving the pocket a little bit. I think that if we're gonna, or who knows, man, who knows what this offensive line combination is. We need to settle on some sort of starting five so they can learn to play together. But I think whoever is at right tackle, it's safe to say that is just something that we're going to have to be mindful of with the play calling. We're not just going to treat whoever is at right tackle like Jordan Seaman. We can't. And we saw in the moments that we did do that, Shedeur was getting crushed. Whether it was in the first half or the second half. I mean, Philip Houston and DT2 had their moments, but yeah. Any other thoughts on the offensive line?
I'd like to touch on one more thing about the under center stuff. I'd love to see them incorporate some naked boots into that. If you like, we've seen Shedeur, his ability to throw the ball while he's on the run, and the quickness and explosiveness this team has going horizontally. Like, you just put Savell Smalls on the right side, you have Savell Smalls chip and then leak out, and it takes so much pressure off of your right tackle. I'd love to see them incorporate some of that into the offense going forward.
I would, as David would say, I would be so erect if we started seeing that more in this offense, because that would be I mean, can you imagine too, then sending like Jimmy on a, across the middle, and then, Travis on a post deep off of that, doing a full bootlet. Oh man, like I could just imagine what you could get out of that. If I'm Pat Shurmur and I saw the success under center and saw how well, I thought, Shedeur did a good job. He looked pretty natural doing it. So why can't we get him some under center snaps and start doing some plays out of that? Get him ready for the NFL, make it look a lot more pro style. That's what everybody's been talking about. It'll honestly help with recruiting too, because now you can truly say that we're running a pro style offense when you're looking at those quarterbacks. Yeah. I mean, it's a win-win-win for everybody. I don't know why, and I hope this week that we do get some more added after we saw that success on the one play.
Yeah. Yes. And again, like this win, it wasn't the prettiest, right? But I really do feel like we're starting to find an identity, especially on offense. And it's going to be up and down for a little bit. The offensive line, I think that there are just some people, guys, that are going to be shitting on this offensive line after every single game, no matter what. Nothing's ever going to be good enough. Don't get me wrong. Tonight's performance, I don't think was good enough, but they're having their moments where they're having success. And I just want them to continue to build on it. If this is the 5 that we end up with, hopefully we can see them develop. But I'm kind of, after seeing multiple substitutions mid-game, I just want to see these guys have some continuity here. Guys, I want to talk about DJ McKinney. We haven't talked about much of the secondary today. I think DJ McKinney burnt a couple times. Did he give up 2 touchdowns or 1? We had Preston Hodge give up 1.
I think it's 1.
Okay.
Because you had the rushing touchdown, you had the kick return, you had 1 on McKinney, 1 on Hodge. That's 4.
And then they had a field goal.
Yeah, is that it?
Yeah. So
They,
20.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Carl. What'd you think about their performance? Is it something that we need to be worried about?
Look, I would say he added some couple bad plays, but I also think some of the plays against him were just unbelievable throws. Like, it is impossible to defend a perfect back shoulder ball, and I think they were going at him with that. I think you can go at any corner with that. Maybe not Travis, because Travis will just turn before the wide receiver even turns, but there were some plays where it's just, that's going to happen when you're playing man coverage. But there were some plays that got beat. Preston got beat. So it was an okay outing from our corners, but they didn't kill us either. So I wasn't too impressed, but I wasn't too down on them.
Yeah, I mean, this is college football 1. I mean, you're going to get beat. It's how often are you going to get beat? I think even on the one that he got beat, I mean, McKinney's got that guy's arm. He makes a one-handed catch. The ball's literally placed in his left arm perfectly. Like, I'm sure Coach Prime would probably say, like, hey, you could probably do this or that. But in essence, like, there's probably not much you can do on that. Preston, people aren't, they're giving a lot of crap to DJ McKinney, but Preston also got burned, and that one wasn't even close. Like, that guy was wide open on the back end, and there was a couple of those that happened where the guys were wide open and Robertson overthrew them. Like, we need to say that Robertson had some great dimes and he was throwing some great passes. He also missed a lot that a better quarterback is going to kill us on. So those are the only ones that you kind of have to worry on. On top of that, it's killing me how we're not getting picks. Like, DJ McKinney should have had a pick 6. Preston Hodge should have had a pick 6. This game is a blowout if you guys do what you're supposed to do and just catch the ball. And those weren't even hard interceptions. Like, they're thrown right at them. So that's kind of frustrating. We've seen this every week now, guys. Like, the Nebraska game, the easy pick by Bentley that would have stopped that drive that went to the Nebraska player. We're not getting the interceptions that we need from this back end like you thought we would. They're there. The plays are there. So, it's the bend but don't break scenario. We're going to have some big plays against us. As long as it's not constant, I'm fine with it. One play like that against DJ McKinney to me is fine. We did fine. We're going to do fine. We're going to score points. We don't need the defense to hold them to 0 is the big thing. So give them a little bit of leeway.
We're not an Iowa offense.
No.
Even though we might stall out a couple times, we are very far away from an Iowa offense. You're definitely right, guys. And I thought to Dante's point here, like, I thought, did DJ have exceptional coverage on some of those passes in which they were completed on him? I don't know. I still think it was good coverage. It was just a better play by the quarterback and wide receiver. I think, like you pointed out, Russ, I think Preston Hodge on that touchdown, amazing catch that the guy went full extension. I think he had, some decent amount of separation from Preston there. Like you said, like this is just going to be a man-heavy defense. You're going to have moments like this. I do wonder. I know, Carter, you might be a little bit more the film guru than me here, but do you see us at all like incorporating any cover 2 with this defense, or do you just think this is kind of mainly what we're going to see throughout the year?
I'm gonna guess this is probably our foundation. I mean, I would say it was. I think we've been improving on it every week. You see more dynamic blitzes and more shifts in the defense. Like, I swear, against the NDSU game, like, we were in cover 1 like 30 plays in a row. I swear. I mean, so as long as it keeps getting better each week, I'm happy. But I was losing my mind again in NDSU and against Nebraska. I mean, it's not hard to scheme up cover 1 beaters, and they were doing it against us, and I was losing my mind.
Guess that's very true. The shallow crossers or anything like that, they weren't beating us on that. It was really just taking these one-on-one shots, and you got to give them credit. They made some spectacular plays in the receiving game, man. Against, I think, good coverage for the most part. I don't want to see McKinney benched. Colton Hood, I'll give him a shout out. I thought he had some nice plays, but dude led up on special teams big time.
I saw that. That was bad. I just don't think he knew where the ball was at. But yeah, I saw that one. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, no, you're good. Yeah, we got to get, and even Wester, as much as I've loved him in the receiving game, been fantastic. This was a guy who was an All-American at FAU last year on special teams, preseason All-American punt returner, and I'm wondering what it is. Is it are our blocks not getting set in time? I just haven't liked his decision making, fielding punts back there a lot. That's something in which, Russ, I cannot believe we played this bad with special teams. We were talking about this on Wednesday and won this game. I cannot.
No, it's so bad.
But the return game has been a moot point. I know we saw Jimmy out there at the end. What are your thoughts been right now in our return game? Now, this was something I had like serious expectation for, and it's just been nothing so
far. I think they need to turn to Jimmy, honestly. Jimmy's had the only big return of the year, and that kickoff versus Nebraska it was, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think LeJohntay is just I bet you he's probably averaging like 3 yards a return right now on the year. It's just not been good. Or at this point, just start fair catching it if there's guys close, because
3 returns for 4 yards, 1.3 average, and Jimmy had a 3-yard return.
Yeah, I mean, neither of them are good, but which is so disappointing, like you touched on. I mean, you're waiting for him to pop one because he's so electric, and it just hasn't happened. So I think it's just time to turn Jimmy back there.
What I saw what we've seen every week. One, LeJohntay first letting all those balls go through the end zone rather than fair catching them. Not go through the end zone, but I mean getting stopped, under 5 yards. That was already a bad play. So even though that doesn't show up on the stat sheet, but we all know those happen. So right there, Wester's not figuring that out. He's not even, catching those balls and fair catching them. And then when he does, he's dancing around too much. Tonight, that one that he cut back to the left and tried to go around. The thing is, we don't need a return game to be successful. We don't. We have a great offense. So, they need to do the bare minimum when it comes to kick return, which, when Jimmy got his, he didn't get any yards, but he also didn't lose any yards. He caught it and he went forward. Just go forward. Get us 5-10 yards at most. Fair catch it if you have to. Whatever you have to do, just I just don't think Wester's the answer right now back there, and I think we should just switch to Jimmy going forward because he did fine enough last year, and that's all we need. And this is the other thing. I don't know what we're going to do because I'm assuming Feely was the only one that could kick it to the end zone as we saw them decide to do a pooch kick. Did you guys even see who that was that kicked it?
Dude. Is that Piazzo? Christian
Piazzo? Was it Piazzo?
Yeah,
oh my gosh. I guess this week Stoyanovich is going to get some burn, maybe at, his long leg. Can you get through the end zone?
Him or Gerlach, damn, dude. It's so frustrating to see these dudes from North Dakota State and from Baylor come out here and just kick this thing through the end zone like it's nothing. And even Jace Feely's touchbacks, man, they're 5 yards at most into the end zone, man.
Dave, I mean, just to make this even worse, Temple, their kicker made a 64-yard field goal today. At Temple has a better field goal kicker than us, and we are a Power 4 team. How do we not have a better kicking game here? I'm sorry, that's the one thing that I will always knock Prime on. The loyalty to Mata, I get it. Mata's accurate, but he can't kick anything over, 40 yards. That's right at his maximum. And as a college football kicker, we need somebody who can kick it out of the end zone and who can kick it, at least give us a chance at a long field goal. It's just so sad that so many teams in the country have better kickers than us. I'm sorry, but Mata really is not a Division I kicker. He's not. He worked out FCS. He's not a Division I kicker. That's probably my most frustrating aspect of what Prime has brought and who he brought with him to Boulder.
Yeah. It very well almost cost us the game today. Just the having to go for it on that 4th and 8, whatever it was, because you don't want to kick that 52-yarder. And again, the returns, man, the returns in the kicking game, that's got to get fixed. Yeah.
So quick question on that 4th down. I want to get your guys' input because I was talking to some people when that happened.
Yeah.
My whole thought process on that 4th down was get Shedeur, get Wester, have them just go deep, throw a deep ball to them, either try and get a PI, end up with the interception. It's still a punt. But the fact that we didn't even get a throw off, I had people, saying that nobody was open. I'm like, it doesn't matter if no one's open.
Yeah, you got
4th down, just throw it. See what happens. If there's a pass interference, great. If they catch it, great. If it's intercepted, that one felt more like Shedeur maybe being a little too selfish, realizing like, hey, I might be able to get the 1st down with my legs, but I don't want to try and throw it just in case I do throw a pick today.
He can't do what he did this game for the rest of conference play and make it out healthy.
Completely agree.
No.
Yeah. He slid maybe once or twice today.
Yeah.
Compared to probably 10 hits when he was running. Yeah, he's got to learn to slide. It's so
throw it out of bounds. Like, damn, man. Like,
yes.
this guy's getting crushed. And it's like, even when he's throwing it away, he's holding it to the last second, and then he's taking a huge shot in the ribs. Like,
it's tough because he sees, because the way our offense is, it's so electric. He sees guys that are like about to just crack open a huge play. And he just sits there, and it's just, dude, just get rid of it. And then boom, he's just helmet straight to the chest.
Yeah. Yeah. You can only take so many of those. But guys, I really appreciate you joining me on this. Again, guys, please go follow Carter Dillon. Let's Talk Buffs. Go follow Russ at Buffs News Weekly. And hopefully you're already subscribed here to David Talks Buffs. But we got over 1,000 people watching. We had 1,200 for most of this stream. Really means a lot to have you guys tune in, spend your time with us. But let's wrap this up, guys, with our dog of the game. Do we want to talk about or do we want to include Travis and Shedeur as part of that? I mean, they're always our best players, but maybe we can talk about our dog of the game after that. Yeah. Carter, is it okay if I pick on you first?
Yeah, I'm ready to roll. My dog of the game, Cam Craig. This guy's just in the right place at the right time at all times. There was a couple 3rd downs where he's just in a one-on-one to make a tackle, and he does it. He just comes through when he needs to. I'm waiting for him to get that interception, but Silman Craig, man, that's my dog.
I love it. Russ, who's your dog of the game, man?
I'm going to go with somebody that flashed early, but I like what I'm seeing so far this season. He's getting some good play on the line, not maybe getting as much love as some of the other guys. BJ Green, he started off that game so strong, that one tackle behind the line of scrimmage, ending up with 2 tackles for a loss, 2 solos, 2 total tackles. So both his tackles are those. But he did a great job on the line. He's starting to really come on. And we did get some decent pressure on Baylor's quarterback. He just, again, the quarterbacks we're facing are not holding onto the ball very long. So it's going to be tough to get those sacks and that sack statistic. But I just love what our defensive line is doing across the board and allowing guys like Cameron Silman Craig and Nakai Hill and Levanta Bentley to fill those holes and do their jobs. And that's why they're being so successful, is the line is doing what they're supposed to do up front, being unselfish by not taking those stats. So BJ Green definitely deserves him being a dog.
I love it. BJ Green was my guy, Russ. So I'm going to go with Jared Higgins right here. Totally right. I'm going with Omarion Miller. Dude, sat the whole bench, first catch, big time touchdown, gets the momentum swing in our favor at halftime. I don't think we win this game without his incredible play and just staying on his feet. Amazing contact balance. Dude's just a dog. We got to see more of him. I think the more we get Omarion Miller the football, the better our chances are to win. So Yes, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Carter, again, thank you so much for joining. Would love to, keep this up, talking post games and everything like that when my schedule allows. So really appreciative of you joining, as well as Russ making an impromptu appearance. It's always a lot of fun, especially after a big game. So before we wrap it up, Carter, let us know where can we find you and what do you got coming up on Let's Talk Buffs?
Yeah, follow me on Twitter at CarterDillon14. Follow Let's Talk Buffs on Twitter. Just Let's Talk Buffs. Subscribe to Let's Talk Buffs on YouTube. Me and Joey Richards over there doing podcasts. And then we also post a ton of film breakdown on the Twitter once we get the film. Great stuff over there. So, yeah, go follow all of that if you're into the film stuff and listen to the pods.
Yes, guys, they're great with film. Please be following Carter on Twitter too, like he said. Russ, I assume we got a recap video coming tomorrow as well. What's on the horizon?
Yeah, no, I'll be live tomorrow at 2. So we're gonna do Sunday lives in the afternoon to kind of discuss the game, go over some of the videotape that we have available live, and yeah. So make sure you guys are over there. Go subscribe to the YouTube channel. We got lots of stuff coming. It's been a lot of fun, and yeah, I mean, nothing better than a Buffs win on a fabulous weekend. So let's enjoy this week.
Amen.
Yes, you guys enjoy it. No sleep tonight. I might fire up the video games. We'll see how it goes, but you guys enjoy this week, enjoy this win, and as always, Sco Buffs.
Sco Buffs.